So Romans chapter 6, verse 17 says, "But God be thanked that ye were the servants of sin, but ye have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you." So Paul's gratitude here is very specific. He doesn't simply thank God that these believers felt conviction or that they changed outward behavior. He thanks God that they obeyed from the heart and that this obedience came through a particular form of doctrine. It's a specific gratitude. So the word form, it matters. Paul is describing a pattern, a mold, something that gives shape. Doctrine isn't presented as information alone, but as something that forms a life. It's not just info. It forms how you live. So what these believers were delivered into was not merely a set of ideas, but a way of understanding reality that reshaped how they lived. Paul reminds them of what they once were. Ye were the servants of sin. Sin was not just something that they did. It was something that ruled them. It shaped their desires, their thinking, their habits, and their direction. Like sin functioned as a master over them. Then something changed, something wonderful. They were delivered into a new pattern. Truth didn't simply confront them, it formed them. The gospel reshaped the heart, and from that reshaping came obedience. That comes from the reshaping. This is why Paul doesn't reduce conversion to a moment or a decision alone. He describes it as a transfer of allegiance and a formation. They were once shaped by sin, now they're shaped by doctrine. This matters because doctrine is never neutral. Everyone is being formed by something. A life will always reflect the teaching it's submitting to, not just what a person claims to believe, but what has actually shaped their thinking, what they love, and what they are obedient to. So Paul is not talking about isolated beliefs floating in the mind, just hanging out. He's talking about submission to a pattern of truth that produces obedience from the heart. Belief often follows formation, but what we are taught, what we sit under, and what we submit to will eventually show up in how we live. This becomes especially clear in tense times. Pressure reveals formation. In the early church, sound doctrine produced courage, it produced endurance and faithfulness under persecution. False teaching, it produced division. It produced compromise and moral collapse. History shows the same pattern again and again. When doctrine is shallow, lives are unstable. When doctrine is distorted, obedience, it erodes. When doctrine is sound, believers stand, even when it costs them something. Doesn't always have to cost them their lives, but it costs them something. So our time now is no different. Confusion in society is not just moral, it's doctrinal. People live out what has shaped them, and scripture is honest about this reality. Paul emphasizes obedience from the heart because this is not forced conformity. This is willing submission. The gospel doesn't merely command, it changes what we love. And when the heart is reshaped, obedience follows because you want to follow. It's that obedience, willful obedience. The doctrine that Paul refers to is the gospel itself. Christ crucified, sin defeated, new life given. This doctrine doesn't enslave, it frees. It takes servants of sin and forms servants of righteousness. It shapes lives, and the gospel is the only doctrine that truly frees. And guess what? If you've never trusted Christ, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved. So believe on him, call him into your life, and let him make you his, and you will be free. I hope this helps. Bye.